Robert Jenkins was a remarkable man, full of stories and experiences that shaped his life. At 81 years old, he had a wealth of memories, but one chapter stood out more than the others: his time as a soldier during the Korean War. Serving his country filled him with pride, and he often shared tales of camaraderie and bravery with anyone willing to listen. But beyond the battles and the bonds he formed, Robert had another passion that brought him joy: music. Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, held a special place in his heart. Robert loved to listen to Elvis's soulful voice and catchy tunes, often humming along to some of his favorite songs. The music reminded him of simpler times and brought a smile to his face even in the most challenging moments. As Robert spent his final days in hospice care, he found solace in whispering about Elvis. Memories of concerts he never attended and the excitement of Elvis's hits filled his thoughts. The flicker of nostalgia would light up his tired eyes, even if just for a moment. In those quiet hours, surrounded by the hum of medical machines and the faint scent of antiseptic, Robert's mind wandered back to the tunes that had once made him feel alive. His love for music became a comforting balm for his soul during those lonely days. Little did he know that this passion would soon lead to an unexpected encounter that would forever change how he faced his final moments. In the warm, quiet room of the hospice, Robert Jenkins spent his days surrounded by soft lighting and the faint sounds of caregivers moving around. The loneliness that crept in during those moments was palpable, like a heavy blanket resting on his heart. With each passing hour, he often stared out of the window, watching the world outside continue on without him. The laughter of children playing and the rustle of leaves in the breeze felt so distant from his reality. Yet deep inside that solitude lay a flicker of light: his connection to Elvis Presley's music. Whispering snippets of lyrics and humming familiar tunes sparked memories of happier times. When he felt particularly low, he could almost hear Elvis's voice beckoning him back to joyful moments spent with friends and family gathered around a record player. Each note resonated within him like a warm hug, reminding him that he had once been vibrant and full of life. As he lay nestled among pillows, gaze drifting toward the ceiling, Elvis's songs became his escape from whispers of illness and fear. On days when he felt weaker, these melodies lifted his spirits, filling the room with nostalgia and joy. Robert clung to that music like a lifeline, finding comfort in the stories woven into each song. It was during these final days of reflection and yearning for connection that he unknowingly prepared himself for an unforgettable surprise that would soon bring his love for music to life once more. Among the staff at the hospice was a compassionate nurse named Mia. She had a natural gift for connecting with her patients, often taking the time to listen to their stories and dreams. When she first entered Robert's room, she noticed him quietly humming Elvis's songs, a faint smile crossing his face despite the sadness that surrounded him. Mia felt an immediate connection with Robert and admired his spirit, even in the face of loneliness. One day, as she sat by his bedside, Mia asked him which Elvis song was his favorite. Robert's eyes sparkled with delight as he excitedly shared tales about how Elvis's music had always filled his home with joy. He spoke of dancing in the living room and how Elvis's voice made tough days feel lighter. It was clear to Mia that music had been a cherished part of Robert's life and that it brought him comfort during his most challenging times. Moved by his stories, Mia decided to do something special for Robert. She envisioned bringing a piece of that joy back into his life, possibly allowing him to meet the man whose music meant so much to him. With determination in her heart, she wrote a heartfelt letter to Elvis Presley's estate, sharing Robert's situation and his love for the king of rock and roll. She hoped that this simple act might brighten Robert's final moments and help ease the loneliness he felt. Little did she know, her kindness would lead to an unforgettable moment for both Robert and herself. With determination in her heart, Mia sat down at her desk one evening, ready to write the letter she hoped would make a difference in Robert's life. She gathered her thoughts, feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness as she began to put pen to paper. The words flowed easily as she poured out Robert's story, his service as a Korean War veteran, his cherished memories, and the deep loneliness he faced in hospice care. Mia emphasized Robert's unwavering love for Elvis Presley, detailing how the music had brought him comfort during difficult times. She wrote about how each song sparked joy and nostalgia, illuminating Robert's spirit even in his final days. Mia included her hope that Elvis might visit Robert, or send a message to brighten his time in hospice, a simple gesture that could mean the world to someone who had dedicated his life to serving others. As she folded the letter carefully and placed it in an envelope, Mia felt a surge of hope. She mailed it with a sense of urgency, wishing that her words would reach Elvis's estate quickly. Days turned into weeks, and Mia kept an eager eye on the mailbox, wishing for any sign that her heartfelt plea had been heard. Mia knew that reaching out to someone as iconic as Elvis was a long shot, but she believed in the power of kindness and connection. Little did she know, her letter would soon set off a chain of events that would change everything for both Robert and herself. Weeks passed since Mia's letter was sent, and just when hope began to dim, an unexpected response arrived. It was a simple envelope with the initials, EP, stamped on it. Mia's heart raced as she opened it, revealing a handwritten note from Elvis Presley himself. In the letter, he expressed his gratitude for Mia's message and shared how deeply touched he was by Robert's story. Elvis wrote that he admired Robert's service to his country and wanted to honor him in a special way. He agreed to visit Robert quietly at the hospice, bringing nothing but his guitar and a few cherished songs that had comforted many over the years. Elvis conveyed his desire to connect with Robert, understanding how important music could be in bridging hearts and creating lasting memories. As Mia read those words, tears filled her eyes. She couldn't believe that the king of rock and roll was willing to make time in his busy life for a humble veteran. Elvis's humility and kindness were evident in every line, showing that he genuinely cared about his fans. The day of the visit arrived like a dream, filling Mia with anticipation and excitement. She carefully prepared Robert's room, wanting it to be perfect for this special moment. As she awaited Elvis's arrival, Mia reflected on the incredible power of compassion, how one letter could spark such a profound connection between two remarkable individuals. This meeting would not only bring joy to Robert but also remind everyone around them of the magic that music and kindness can create. The day had finally arrived, and the atmosphere in the hospice was charged with anticipation. Mia made final preparations in Robert's room, arranging his favorite blanket and ensuring the lighting was soft and inviting. She felt a mix of excitement and nerves, knowing that this visit could mean the world to Robert. As the clock ticked closer to the moment, they heard a gentle knock on the door. Mia's heart raced as she opened it to reveal Elvis Presley, standing there with a warm smile and his guitar slung casually over his shoulder. He radiated a sense of calm, his presence immediately filling the room with warmth and light. Elvis stepped inside, his demeanor humble and genuine. There was no glitz or glamour, just a man ready to share his music with someone who needed it most. He approached Robert's bedside quietly, taking a moment to observe the frail figure lying there. "Hey there, buddy," he said softly, kneeling next to Robert. He could see the faint smile on Robert's face as he recognized the voice he had loved for so long. Elvis began strumming his guitar gently, filling the room with soothing melodies. The moment was magical. It was as if time stood still. Robert opened his eyes wide, a look of wonder crossing his face as he realized who was by his side. With great effort, he squeezed Elvis's hand, and everyone in the room felt an overwhelming sense of connection, the power of music bridging generations and bringing joy in a time of need. As Elvis settled beside Robert's bed, the room seemed to transform into a sacred space filled with warmth and love. The gentle hum of the guitar strings blended with the soft beeping of medical machines, creating a soothing melody that wrapped around them like a tender embrace. Elvis looked at Robert, who was still absorbing the reality of this extraordinary moment, and began to sing a hymn that had been a cherished part of Robert's life. With each note, Elvis's voice flowed like honey, rich and comforting. He sang, "Amazing Grace," a hymn that resonated deeply with Robert's heart. The familiar lyrics filled the air, evoking memories of long-lost moments shared with loved ones, times spent in church, gathered around family, and feeling a sense of belonging. As Elvis sang softly, Robert closed his eyes and let the music wash over him, allowing nostalgia to envelop his spirit. The nurses in the room stood silently, tears glistening in their eyes as they witnessed this intimate scene unfold. They felt privileged to be part of such a beautiful connection between two souls brought together through music. In that serene atmosphere, it felt as though time stood still. Nothing else mattered but the love expressed through song. Robert's faint smile revealed his deep appreciation for this gift. As he listened intently to every word sung by Elvis, he felt an overwhelming peace settling within him. It was more than just a performance. It was an affirmation of life's beauty and an acknowledgement of his journey, a final farewell wrapped in love and melody before he embraced eternal rest. As Elvis began to sing, Robert felt a stirring deep within him. At first, his eyes remained closed, but the soothing sound of Elvis's voice drew him back from the shadows of his mind. Slowly, he opened his eyes, and the sight that greeted him was beyond his wildest dreams. There, just inches away, was Elvis Presley, the man whose music had filled his heart with joy for decades. In an instant, a radiant smile spread across Robert's face, illuminating the room. The joy that lit up his features was infectious. It seemed to bring warmth not only to himself but to everyone watching. It was as if a spark of life had rekindled within him, chasing away the loneliness that had settled in during his final days. Robert's gaze locked onto Elvis's, and in that moment, words were unnecessary. There was a beautiful understanding between them, a shared connection that transcended the ordinary. He reached out with trembling hands and gently squeezed Elvis's hand, feeling the warmth and reassurance of a legend beside him. Elvis paused mid-song, his heart swelling at the sight of Robert's happiness. He leaned in closer, offering a reassuring smile that spoke volumes. This was more than just a performance. It was a heartfelt exchange that celebrated Robert's life and the love they both shared for music. For Robert, meeting Elvis was like rediscovering a long-lost part of himself. In those precious moments, he felt alive again, surrounded by music and kindness, ready to face whatever came next with peace in his heart. As Elvis continued to play and sing, Robert felt an overwhelming rush of emotions. The warmth of Elvis's presence enveloped him, and he knew he was experiencing something truly special. With every note, he felt gratitude swell within him, a deep appreciation for the music that had always been a source of comfort in his life and for this remarkable moment that transcended the ordinary. In a surge of emotion, Robert reached out with trembling fingers and gently squeezed Elvis's hand. It was a simple gesture, yet it spoke volumes. That squeeze symbolized more than just thanks. It represented a profound connection forged through shared love for music and the humanity they both cherished. It was a fleeting moment, but it felt timeless, as if the universe had conspired to bring them together in that sacred space. Elvis looked down at Robert, his heart swelling with joy at the sight of the elderly veteran's smile. The two men shared a silent understanding, a bond that needed no words. In that instant, both understood how powerful a simple touch could be, bridging generations and reminding them of life's beauty even in the face of mortality. Tears of gratitude glistened in Robert's eyes as he held on tightly, feeling the warmth of not just Elvis's hand but also the love that flowed between them. This moment would stay with him forever, a final gift from one artist to another, reminding Robert that he was not alone, but rather surrounded by love and music as he prepared for his next journey. As the last notes of Amazing Grace lingered in the air, a gentle stillness enveloped the room. Robert's eyes, once filled with vibrant life, began to soften as he took a deep breath. The warmth of Elvis's presence and the love shared in those moments wrapped around him like a comforting blanket. Slowly, he closed his eyes once more, and a serene smile graced his lips, a reflection of peace that signaled he was ready to let go. In that quiet moment, the nurses who had gathered nearby felt a wave of emotion wash over them. They had witnessed something extraordinary, not just a performance, but a genuine connection between two souls from different walks of life. Robert's legacy as a service member and his enduring love for music resonated deeply within each heart present. As Robert peacefully passed away, the room was filled with an overwhelming sense of gratitude. His journey had come full circle, leaving behind stories of bravery and melodies that would echo in the hearts of those who knew him. The impact of his life story and this final encounter with Elvis would be felt long after he departed. Elvis sat quietly beside Robert for a moment longer, paying tribute to the man who had touched his heart through the power of music and kindness. It was a bittersweet farewell. While they had said goodbye to Robert's physical presence, they celebrated the legacy he left behind, a legacy woven with love, service, and the everlasting bond that music creates among us all. In the moments following Robert's passing, the atmosphere in the hospice was heavy with emotion. The nurses, who had witnessed the beautiful connection between Robert and Elvis, stood together in a corner of the room, tears streaming down their faces. They shared soft whispers about the profound impact that the encounter had on them, feeling incredibly fortunate to have participated in such a heartwarming experience. Mia, the nurse who had reached out to Elvis, felt a mix of grief and gratitude. She reflected on how Robert's love for music had not only brought him comfort but had also united everyone in the room. The intimate performance had reminded them all of the power of compassion and kindness, the ability to touch someone's heart and make a lasting difference. One of the other nurses recalled how Robert's eyes sparkled with joy when he recognized Elvis, and how his entire demeanor changed as the music flowed. It reinforced for them that even in life's final moments, beauty can be found through simple acts of love. The experience became a reminder of why they chose to work in healthcare, to connect with patients on a level that goes beyond physical care. As they began to clean up the room, one nurse quietly played Amazing Grace on her phone, filling the space with this soothing melody once more. They stood together in solidarity, honoring Robert's legacy and cherishing the lesson learned that day, that compassion, music, and human connection could create extraordinary moments even at the end of life. The story of Robert Jenkins and his final moments with Elvis Presley serves as a poignant reminder of the extraordinary power of kindness, music, and human connection. In life's final chapters, when loneliness and despair can feel overwhelming, small acts of compassion can create ripples of hope that transcend time and space. Mia's heartfelt initiative to reach out to Elvis highlights how one person's desire to bring joy to another can lead to profound, life-changing experiences. The enchanting moment when Elvis sang Amazing Grace not only provided comfort to Robert but also illuminated the path for everyone present, reminding them of the beauty that exists even in sorrowful times. As Robert peacefully passed away, surrounded by love and music, he left behind a legacy that resonates deeply with those who witnessed this special encounter. The nurses felt their hearts swell with emotion, grateful for the reminder that their work goes beyond medical care. It is about touching lives and creating meaningful connections. This powerful experience illustrates that music has an unparalleled ability to comfort and heal, bridging generations and fostering a sense of unity among us all. Robert's journey exemplifies how human compassion can transform a sad farewell into a celebration of life, love, and legacy. In conclusion, whether through a gentle song or a simple gesture of kindness, we have the capability to bring light into someone's darkest moments. This story encourages us all to embrace the power of connection, to uplift each other through music and love as we navigate life's most challenging passages together.